Hello everyone, Snipe Trading here. Today is the 10th of March, Wednesday, and I'll be going over my recap for today. So today, traded a total of like 10 tickers, 10 stocks, making a total of $1,084, mainly on GNUS with a big win of 725. And I'll go over each trade individually and go over my thought process on the decisions I made for these. Okay, so let's start from the big winner of today, GNUS. So GNUS so there was a flag off. You can see a flag here, and became consolidation, became support and resistance, and then you can see it tested all the time frames. So this is the hourly chart. It tested the hourly chart, and then it reclaimed VWAP. So I was watching this when it was right here. So right here actually went a little early, so I went ahead and took a few shares there just in case it rips. But ideally I wanted like another retest and hold a VWAP. So when that fell, I kind of hang on to it with my risk off of 210 area. So I started 214s with risk of 210, so that was roughly a $60 risk. And then when I saw it testing the VWAP, I kind of dip out this, and then when I see it's holding, I added a little more with my risk off of the prior low here. And then when it broke this channel, like a quick small channel here, I added a little more for the break of this bigger flag here. And when that happened, I added also more, and now I moved my risk from here at 210 to 212. So just when the VWAP breaks. So I held on to the shares there, and sold onto the pop. Sold a third of my shares on this pop, and then after this trend break, it was gonna break high of day. So I held with high conviction that it will probably break high of days, but I sold another third there, so it's down 4,000 shares, and then end up taking more profits here, and I think my highest share was 230s, and then I stopped the rest on 225, expecting for this inverted cup and handle break. So I was expecting this. It was extending on the 1 minute chart, so I took it off there. So it actually didn't break. It go a little bit higher to retest higher day, and eventually kind of broke down. But my last sale was 227s there, for a total of $725 win on GNUS. So we haven't been seeing a lot of these flag plays lately, so this was the only play that I would consider pretty much like an A plus setup. So I went much larger size shares there. Okay, so that was $725 win on GNUS. My next trade is GTT. So GTT was a short. So I saw it's breaking high of day here on the extension to the hourly. So you can see towards the end of the morning and towards like lunchtime and towards the afternoon, the chart tends to gravitate towards the hourly chart. So once that is done, and high of day didn't go much further, I was thinking this is going to be a fade to the hourly chart. So I saw 15-minute trend. So this is a 15-minute trend. A base off of 245s there. And then you can see this inverted cup and handle forming, or descending triangle. Broke that descending triangle on the 245 break. So I went ahead and I started a little early here. Covered a bit, possibly to downsize. When this failed to break out and create a lower high for that inverted cup and handle, I went ahead and add more there. So I had roughly 3,000 shares when I was adding here, and that's when I took covers along the way here towards the 30-minute trend. So that was a $235 win on GTT. It was just a quick reversal of the 15-minute trend to the hourly. So you eventually test the hourly there. So I was hoping for a retest of this and then another fade to add, but it ended up testing VWAP there and faded back down. So that's GTT. My next trade is DKNG. So DKNG was also a short. You can see it's trending the 15-minute trend, and the 5-minute is way up here, 15 minutes up here, so you have a good extension there for the fade back down to the 15-minute chart. So again, I saw like higher day breaks here. These were higher day break, but they didn't go much further. You can see the double top, and then when I saw inverted cup and handle, I started short there on the 68.41 break. So once it broke that support, I went ahead and covered. It tried to retest this. It wasn't able to close above it. I re-added my position and started covering the rest when it hit this level. I think it was 6. Yeah, when it hit the 15-minute target. And it ended up bouncing off the 30-minute trend and going higher. So it's a good cover there on DraftKings DKNG for a $221. Next trade was GME. So GME was it was trending, on, you can see on the day here, it had a nice 9 EMA hold on the daily chart, and there's a lot of diamond hand bag holders up here, so I think any chance it pops up is going to get sold into. So I don't think this is going to be the move that goes up to the moon. It's going to be like some more consolidation roughly around this area, and then I think the next break of 300 400 would be potentially it can go higher, but before it does that, it will need some consolidation and pull back to shake out those longs that are overhead. But I sold. I saw this sold breakdown, and I went ahead. There was like a few halts here. There is so this was a dead cat bounce play. So it's a few halts down, one halt up, and then another halt up, buy up. So I went ahead and bought 5 shares at 198 here, looking for, so you can see the 1 minute trend is really far. So I was expecting at least a 240 test or a 250 test. So I went ahead and bought 5 shares there and pretty much sold on the way up here with probably a 232 average sell there. And it was just a quick $155 win on GME. I was also trying to look for a few more trades like on Express. I think during the same time when GME was crashing, I was hoping that it would do an inverted cup and handle here too short, but I think the sell pressure is just too strong that it didn't give me a proper setup to enter short there. But that was GME for $155 win. The next trade is PXS. PXS, pretty much similar chart to GNUS. There was this flag play. You can see it tested the hourly. So in the afternoon, you want the hourly to be tested, and it held this VWAP higher low. So I was okay with buying this break with my risk of prior low, and pretty much it just rips up towards high day here. I just sold pretty much my whole shares around that 180 area. So that's a quick like $56. I wanted to add more shares, but I couldn't get the rest filled there. Next trade is ENVB. So ENVB was actually a misclick. I wanted to short here. So I wanted to short this 15-minute trend break. You can see this inverted cup and handle. I wanted to short here, but I accidentally bought, and because I misclicked, I just pretty much bought and sold it pretty much instantly, and that was just a quick misclick. I wanted to short here for that break, but I actually went long and I just took it off, and because I misclicked, I just stopped trading that. But I tried to short again over here, but then I didn't have the locates. So let's inverted cup and handle. You can see there's a base here around the 505. So that was a good base. It broke, retest, went down lower, trying to retest 505s again, couldn't close above it, and then going down lower. So that was a potential short there, but no locates for my broker. And that was just a break-even trade, $4 win. Next trade, JAN. So JAN was short as well, but I ended up taking a loss. Let's see what happened. So it actually went my way. I saw this 5-minute trend holding up here. You got lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So I shorted there, thinking this is going to break the inverted cup and handle on this 931. It somewhat broke it off this candle. It was like 230s or so. I went ahead and short that for that little break, and then it kind of bounced, and because this was a little higher, I kind of just stopped out there. So it was like, yeah, a quick $23 loss. It was an attempt to short there, but didn't really go immediately, but just a few minutes later the move happened. So it's unfortunate, but I think, you know, it's all about timing. So that was JAN for a $23 loss. Next trade is EVFM. EVFM was a $73 loss. So I think this was also a short, and yeah, while I was trading this, it felt the way it was trading felt like it was high institutional owned. So it was a little difficult, but I was looking for this extension, the 5 minutes down here, and I saw this 301 support, and it was holding it, so it didn't break the 301, but I ended up adding for that break anticipation, but it ended up kind of pushing back up here, so I stopped out for a $73 loss. So, you know, just you can stop out and take paper cut trades paper cut losses. Just don't be stubborn and take a bigger loss. So had I stopped out here, it would have been a bigger loss. So you don't want to fight the trend. If you're wrong, take the losses, because you'll make it back when you get a bigger trade. So it's okay. So that's $73 loss there. Next trade was KOSS. I think this was a flag play as well. I saw this was holding VWAP. It eventually it was like a slow mover, so it was kind of holding under VWAP here, and then when it held above VWAP, that's where I wanted to kind of go long. But I think I sized in way too much, and the spread is a little big, so it was kind of a little difficult to trade the spread. But had I sized down a little bit, I think I would have had this move, draw the 5-minute EMA, and maybe gotten this bigger move. But could have been a little more patient there. I feel like most of my theories are correct. Just I guess timing and maybe sizing a little too much there from the spread. I think it was like 50-cent spread, so it's a little bit more difficult to trade. But I took a $93 loss there. Went long and then just stopped out. I think I was expecting the 5-minute to hold, and because there's a little wick there, I just stopped out. So I should have given it more room, at least the prior low or the 15-minute trend. But that's a $93 loss. AMC, I think same thing. Might have went a little too big, but it was like a pretty annoying ticker to trade today. You can see there's a lot of wicks everywhere, pretty much wicks. So I felt like there's a lot of sellers trying to get out. So here was my first trade. So there's a flag here. You can see VWAP support, VWAP resistance, and now it became support. So I thought this was a nice flag break. It had a little push on that little wick, and then it failed, so it kind of went back to test the hourly. So I went ahead, I took a probably like a $90-something loss there, and then it attempted to break again. I think it was for this flag. Bought a little early, higher low here, bought a little early, and it went too slow, so I just took it off, and that was just like a $20 or $30 loss. And yeah, for these two losses was for a total of $123. So yeah, so that those are my trades for today. Pretty much making 1,084 on 8 or 10 stocks, and then just making sure that you keep your losses small and your wins bigger. And again, I only trade the same two setups. So these are the two setups I trade. The long setup flag, making confirmed support, resistance become new support, and flagging off and taking that trade, risking prior low, and then taking profits along the way there. And then on the short setup is the extended cup, inverted cup and handle. So you get extension, you get an inverted cup, and then a lower high for the cup and handle. And a break of that will be a trend line, a support break, and I'll take covers. So those are the two trades I mostly take. Hey Dizzy, drunk. Do I trade futures? No, I used to trade futures like the MES, the minis, or the micros. But not anymore. But I've tried multiple markets. I tried like the Forex market, futures market. Yeah, and I tried using Ninja Trader. So I tried doing a lot of programming on futures, um, and I think I think my style of trade, it works more for retail traders, and futures. I think because it follows the market, and the market is a combination of stocks. Um, it's a little harder to trade, um, because a lot of the technical pattern it goes by. A lot of the technical pattern moves because of emotions and more psychological. So it's like the spy and stuff. It's all emotion, but then it's not really following the the patterns, right? So if you just look at the daily chart, it's just trailing up. So it's hard to trade this. I don't see any pattern. But when you do see a pattern, it doesn't really obey the rules as well. So that's why I avoid trading futures. But I have played around with like a lot of indicators and like creating a golden indicator, like multiple indicators together to make it work. But you can see it broke down here on the SPY, and it doesn't, if this broke, it should continue going down for a typical stocks. But right now it's just emotion, stimulus, like a lot of fundamentals. It's just gonna go back up. So I don't see technical working that well on combinations like ETFs, as well as stocks, especially for retail traders. There's a lot of emotions to it, so it's a little easier to trade when there's emotions. Since yeah, but I'm gonna end my stream, just to close this recap. But I could start streaming more on Twitch, just to um, talk about more of an insight. But I also I'm uploading this on YouTube. So yeah, feel free to also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also have a Twitter page. So I post a daily P&L there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.